Thank you. Basically, when we're saying 174 countries, it's a huge number. It's a big number. If you look at the total number of strengths of people that we actually have, the number of people that we have, the employees who are working across the globe, the number has reached a staggering 650,000. That's 6.5 lakh people. It's a small town in itself. It's actually a very huge number that we are actually looking at, but we are proud about it, and we do not have a problem. We actually add 1 lakh people every year. There is a addition of 1 lakh people, of course, looking into the attrition part also, but there is 1 lakh people who actually join TCS, and these 1 lakh people are not at managerial level or at my level or at any level. These are all freshers who actually join these organizations. Managerial level, 5,000 people are different who actually join on a yearly basis. So understanding the humongous scope of this organization, the one thing I can tell you very clearly is, if see, first of all, it's a Tata brand. The most important aspect about a Tata brand is its ethics and values. Whatever we do, okay, we will never let go of our ethics and values, and this is something which is very important for us as an organization, as our status quo, as our as an integral part of our organization. Our ethics and values are the most critical. So basically, when I'm saying why is it so important, whatever we bring, however we bring, we will ensure that it is the best, and whatever we try to do, okay, will be in the best way possible that we are going to organize it. Now, coming to this point, and this is something that you have to all understand this, okay, coming from TCS or coming from Tata, okay, the product understanding has to be brilliant. We take our own time to build the product. It is not something which is built immediately, or it is not something which is actually just made out of extempore. Everything takes its time, and we actually make this ensure that whatever we bring is absolutely useful for the people who are going to, or who are actually you going to use it. The end user always finds it beneficial to use it or to gain knowledge out of it. So that's the first part. The second thing what I want to tell you is, what are we trying to do over here? What is exactly happening? So TCS has been into assessments since the last 10 years. If you know, all your NEET, your IIT JEE, your police examinations, all government competitive examinations which happen across the country happen on TCS platforms. We have around a staggering amount of 95% market share, which we actually work on. So when we say 95% market share, that means in the last 10 years, we have assessed. Assessed means we have taken examinations for more than 30 crore Indians, only Indians. And now we're going into other markets like, Southeast Asia, Eastern Africa, Western Africa, even Europe for that matter. So this is the scope of business that we are looking at, and this is the kind of work that we actually do, even in the education field. You will never understand what is actually TCS doing, but if you look at the overall scope, the magnanimity of the activity, it is absolutely huge. Now, coming into learning programs. Now, first of all, understanding what are we trying to do over here, what are we exactly bringing back to you. TCS always feels that there has to be a complete mix of academic and industry. Why do we say a mix of academic and industry? If you only keep getting academic knowledge, and if you do not understand what the industry is actually asking for, okay, the combination has to be right. If there is no combination as such, this will falter, and it has been happening for the last, I think, 20-25 years. There has been a complete breakdown of the system which we are trying to create. But what we have been doing is, we have been trying to understand and bring together both these aspects, which is your academia and your industry, and we are putting them together in such a way that you get benefited. Why is it so important? Because the first thing is, it is the industry which has to be, it is whatever you do, whatever you study, whatever you actually ensure, okay, it is the industry which is where the core competency or the subject has to be relevant. If the industry relevance is zero, or if it is less, okay, then you give 100 hours, 200 hours, 500 hours, 10,000 hours, okay, it is still going to be irrelevant once you reach your organizational status. That is, once you go for a job, that's exactly what is supposed to be important. That's the first part. The second thing is, once you actually finish your studies, does that make you job ready? That's more important. And that's actually the second question which is asked. You all want to go out for jobs, you actually want to do this, you actually want to go and make a mark for yourself. Jyoti, I'm so sorry, but there's a lot of noise. Can I mute? Thanks. I'll keep muting people if, in case, if you come out of mute, I'll just mute it. But in case, please don't mute it. There are a lot of other people also, and I don't want anyone else disturbed. This is a very important aspect that we're kind of touching. So please bear with me for half an hour, and I'll be able to take all your questions if you don't mind, guys. Thank you so much. So first of all, let me ask this question: is English okay, or you want me to talk in English and Hindi? Very genuine question, and I want a few people to answer. If it's English, then English. If it's English or Hindi, then I'll mix match and put both these things together. Fine, Chandu. Thank you so much. Mr. Reddy, I will talk in English. Anybody else? Is anyone actually wanting for Hindi? Then please let me know. I will be fine. Thank you so much. Okay. So in case of this, what are we trying to do? Understanding what are we trying to do is, first of all, as I said, your education needs both integration of academia and industry, and whatever the offspring of these integration is going to be the most important aspect, which will actually help you go to the field and go to the organization and give your best. The second thing is, what happens, what are we doing to ensure that you actually become job ready? When I say job ready, academia does not mean that you are job ready. Once you finish your graduation does not mean that you are job ready. It does not actually give you the complete understanding, because you will have a lot of facets which you will face once you actually go into the field, once you actually go into the market. Today, if I'm able to speak to you like this, okay, it was never the case when I actually started. It built on, I got better. We were people who actually helped me, and that's the reason why I was able to actually, this is the way I'm able to communicate with you right now. But when I started, I was not that fluent, or even I had language issues, or there was other issues which we would always face. Now, what are we trying to do when we actually build this? So we want to inculcate not just skilling as a benchmarking. We want to ensure that you are upskilled. When I say upskilled, that means take one aspect of your academic part, integrate it with industry, okay, and give it to you so that you can actually sharpen yourself. When I say sharpen yourself, that means you get better and better and better at one particular thing, and that's exactly what you need. You do not need to be good in 20 things. No, that's not the way it works. If you start becoming good in 20 things, you'll not be good in anything. It's like the best proverb is jack of all, master of none. Exactly the way that happens. You don't want to be a jack of all, but you need to be master in a couple of things, which actually puts your, gives you a leverage when you go to the market, when you actually go to the industry and you want to make a mark of yourself. Now, this is exactly what we're trying to do. Coming to the point of exactly what we're trying to do is, all of you are coming from an engineering background or a computer science or an IT background. You've chosen computer science as a field or software as a field where you want to actually, grow ahead, or where you want to actually make your mark. Now, let me explain it to you, okay, how this actual industry works. The first thing that you have to understand is, the moment you go for an interview after finishing your education, what is the first thing that they ask you to do in an interview? If nobody can answer, I'll answer this question for you guys. The first thing that they ask you is, can you code? Okay. If yes, then can you please give us a written code? We'll give you a question, we'll actually give you a supplement, and you just give us a code. You just write the situation solution for us and give it back to us. What is expected out of you? The expectation out of you is not to write a 25, 30, 40, 50 line code. That's not the expectation. Understand this very clearly. The expectation out of you is to understand how smartly can you actually solve this. When I say smartly, that means elegance actually comes into place. The way, the attribute, the way you using your attributes, your thought process, your mindfulness, okay, your understanding, okay, in solving those problems, the way you actually derive the whole code, you put it in place. All these things are actually put in, come to a, are brought into perspective, okay, when you're actually writing this code. And is all these things taught to you while you are actually giving your academic prowess? No, it is not. There are some things which are actually taught to you, but more importantly, These are things which actually you need to have to sharpen yourself. That is why we actually brought this part first. What did we do? We said, "Okay, okay, you know what, the most important aspect is to make sure that these guys codes, code like genius. Let them understand what exactly are we trying to build. We want to do this, and this is exactly how we will be showing it to you." So let me now share my screen, and I'll be able to guys, can you just see? Can you just let me know if you can see? Are you able to see? I can't see your messages, so someone will have to unmute and answer the question if you can see.
Yeah, we can see.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so what are we trying to do when we say, okay, TCS is actually bringing a course in competitive coding using data structures. We'll take it line by line. We will understand exactly what we are trying to do over here. I will simplify it for you so that you can understand it. All of you guys are actually smarter than me when it comes to understanding data structures or competitive coding. But for everyone else, even if one person has not understood it, let me give it a chance and let me make them understand. So basically, what is competitive coding? It's a mind game. Okay, it's like a chess. Okay, you have to plan 3 steps ahead. You have to plan 4 steps ahead. Okay, okay, how am I actually going to write this code? What am I going to write? What am I actually going to do to write this code? This is exactly what they teach you. We What are we trying to do with this particular course? We're actually trying to make you think. Okay, think properly, look at the question, understand, and then evaluate yourself and put it into its place properly so that you can actually make yourself much better. What do? The second thing that we're trying to do is we are trying to increase your logical ability. What we're trying to do is we are increasing your ability to write a challenging code. When I say challenging code, you'll have different kinds of codes. You'll have exams which will you will be giving, okay, when you go for job interviews, where you'll have different problems coming from different arrays, okay, in different fields. You should be able to understand the problem in the right time. You should be able to give a proper logical reasoning basically to the codes which you have written, okay, even if it's a challenging code, and you are able to ensure that it is perfectly written. The third thing, the best time, you have to make sure that you solve the same thing in a limited span of time. It's like if you guys have ever given cat, or for that matter, what is the one exam which is similar in CAT, IIT, JEE, and for that matter, NEET? Mathematics. Let me just cut it short. I don't want to, I can't ask everyone to mute at any given point of time. Mathematics. When I was giving my CAT in 2006, approximately 2006, the first thing that what I did was I enrolled for my logical reasoning classes and CAT class, my mathematics classes. For the first 3 months, they only taught us how to create shortcuts. They only taught us how to actually use formulas in different ways, in different aspects, in different, on a piece of paper without a calculator, and solve those problems which are hard for a human mind to solve without a calculator. Now this is exactly what we did. And what I am trying to tell you is this is exactly what we do. So exams wise, you have 120 questions which you have to solve in 100 minutes. The timeline is very important, because if you miss out and if you take more time on one problem, okay, you're actually going to ensure that the whole paper goes for a toss. That's not what we are trying to do. You need to actually have a limited time. How does this happen? Practice. And of course that is exactly what we are going to use. It has to be efficient in terms of execution. That means you take a problem and you write a 50-line code. You will be impressed writing a 50-line code in a limited time in a limited time. But trust me, when the guy is actually sitting and looking at your code, okay, it's a 50-line code. What is he thinking about? Okay, for every time there is a small change or a mistake which actually happens in writing that code, he will actually have to go through all these 50 lines, okay, to ensure that he actually has to remove that mistake. What does a person or a hiring executive or a hiring HR manager look at, or the guys, technical guys look at? They look at, okay, can this be written in a 20-line code? Or can this be written in a 15-line code? Can you actually write it in a 10-line code? The smaller the better, the easier to understand, the better. That is exactly what we are trying to do over here. Make it short, make it sweet, make it you know efficient. That is the best word to use. And the last thing is brute force solutions, your ability to think about brute force solutions. Now these are the things which we actually inculcate in this course. Why is it important? Why actually is it important? It is important because everything that you do, you guys have chosen the line, you have chosen this particular profession which you want to excel in. The moment you understand this, कि, okay, this is what we need to do in the long term, okay, this is something that you will be able to understand. Now I'll just give you another example. You want to write a book, okay, you understand English, but you want to write a book about any such per se topic which you've thought about for some time. With your normal English, can you actually write a book? No, that's not possible, because you need to have that flow, you need to have the grasp of the language, you need to have a lot of other things also while you write a book. What do? You actually study, okay, to write a book. Once you study that kind of language, once you actually get into that kind of studying, okay, for a language where you are able to actually write a book, can you then forget it? That's also not possible. So it stays with you, it stays with you for a longer time, because you've been practicing it, you've been studying it, you've been understanding it, and you've been executing it in your day-to-day life. That means it stays with you for a longer period of time. And that is exactly what we talk about when we say upskilling. Upskilling means to make sure that you are skilled to a point or to a level where you are getting better, and not for that particular time moment. No, it doesn't make sense actually, for a time moment where you are going to be there for a longer period of time. Now this is what competitive coding, okay, with data structures is all about. Basically, make sure that you become smarter when it comes to logical abilities, okay, solve challenging problems, take limited amount of time to actually solve those problems, and the execution that you actually give, okay, at the end of the day, okay, is extremely efficient. Four things put together at this point of time. Once you start doing this, and at any point of time, there is no organization will say no to hire you. This is how this works, and this is exactly how it will work. So basically, it's a building block of software engineering. Data structures and algorithms are the most important aspect. You have to learn it. You have to ensure that these things are taken care by you if you are pursuing this particular field. Problem solving skills simplified through process. Okay, proficiency in data structures improves candidates' potential logical analytical skills. Okay, write optimized codes, integral to participate in competitive programming. Now, most of these organizations, bigger organizations, they hold these competitive exams. The guy who actually wins, or the people who actually are the first 10 or first 20, okay, they're the ones who are actually picked up, and they're the ones where the salaries are negotiated. The rest other people are the ones who actually get a base salary which is given to everyone else. Now that's where we want to take you, and we want to put you over there. You have the chance to do this, and this is what we will ensure that you start doing it. So we've algorithmic problems in the shortest possible time. Let me not repeat this again. Now let me talk about how will this get executed. Now this is exactly very, very critical for all of you to understand. Now it's a 15-hour program. First of all, understand very clearly, it's a 480-hour program. It's a 6 months program. How do we execute the 6 months program? We take theory, we take practicals, and then we take self learning. There are three aspects to this particular program. There are 10 topics which will be covered in this particular program. If you want to go through these 10 topics, we will be able to give you, there is already all the data which is available in the brochure. I'm sure you've got the brochure. If not, please ask for from us. You will be able to get it. In case if you are not able to get the brochure, just go to TCS Ion website. Okay, just type TCS Ion and just put dash data structures, or competitive coding with data structures, and you will be able to get a complete understanding of what are the 10 topics which will be covered. But let me talk about the duration right now. 60 hours lectures, which is theory. Now we talk about these 10 topics. There are theory aspects also in these 10 topics. So we have cut down these 10 topics, okay, into 60 hours with one lecture of 1.5 hour each. Now, why are we doing 1 hour, 1.5 hour, and 1 hour, not 1 hour? because it is impossible for us to cover the whole syllabus or actually explain it to you in 1 hour. So we've ensured that each and every lecture that we do is a 1.5 hour lecture. Okay, so that means you'll have 45 live lectures. Now these are not recorded sessions, these are all live sessions which are happening. That means you will be learning these sessions while you are looking at the professor or the trainer and getting trained. Second thing is you have 120 hours of practicals. Now that means you'll have a 3 hour practical. One practical will be worth 3 hours, and you will have 40 such practicals. No, we are actually going into details right now. Why are we doing this? Because you have to understand practice is what will make you perfect. And if you don't put this kind of effort behind your backs into ensure that you understand this, it is not really going to help you. The third thing is 40 practicals of 3 hours each, which is 120 hours. And the third thing is after every topic that you cover, that is your theory, you will conclude the practicals, and then you will be given some amount of sums to solve or some amount of practical homework to be done, which will be of course 300 actual problems which are lying in the industry. Now for us to tell you that if you really want to get picked up by the best of the organizations, you are not to leave these 300 hours of self study at all. This is extremely important. Why? Because the more you practice on this, the better you get, and the better you get, you will actually be able to understand and write much more efficiently than what you will do in only 3 year practicals. So you will have live lectures, you will have practicals in online mode, which are again live, and then you will always have doubt solving sessions. You'll have community sessions. You'll be a part of a community where you will be able to raise your doubts or even solve other people's doubts who are actually have throwing these questions to you, because it only helps getting better and better. Who are the people who are actually eligible for this particular course? There are two things which you have to understand once you complete, if you want to get enrolled in this course. You need to understand how to first of all have a language. There are four languages: C, C++, CPP or C++, Java, and Python. All of these four language, you need to understand any one language. That is the most important. If you understand C++ best, because we will be doing this in C++, we will be teaching you in C++. But if you want to solve these 300 problems in say Java, if you want to solve these 300 problems say in Python, you will be given that option too. The second thing is you need to understand what is data structures. Data structures is taught to every student who actually is doing his engineering or BTech, okay, in the second year, second sem itself, third sem itself, right? So we expect the students to be in the third year so that they have done 1 year of data structures and they understand what is data structures, because the fourth year is a place where you actually start going to these hackathons or you actually start giving your examinations. So we need those 6 months in between where we will take evening lectures and we can actually sharpen your skills. A proper sharpening of skills should happen at any given point of time. So if you're a BCA or a BSc or a BCS or a MCA or a BTech or a diploma, it doesn't matter. The two things which you need to understand is how to code, that is a language, and the data structures part has to be there. The basic knowledge has to be there. Why? Because we are not skilling you, we are actually upskilling you. That means when we start questioning you or when we have these problem statements thrown at you, you should understand the basic nuances of these problems. Once you understand these basic nuances, you will be able to answer these questions. Even if you're not able to answer these questions, understanding is very important. That's the reason why we are looking at this kind of eligibility criteria. The fees of the program is extremely low. We've kept it at a 17,699 only, and we are giving a 15% discount for the first year. For the first year, that means the fees comes down to 15,044. That's what the actual fees is. This is including GST, so there is no second thought. So in 15,644, we're actually going to ensure that you actually study with us for 6 months and get prepared. And how do you actually prepare for that, or what is the outcome, will come to you in some time. Assessments is list of practicals and MCQs to be executed after every module. There are 10 modules, as I said. 10 modules, so there'll be 10 list of practicals and MCQs which will be conducted, and you will always have a final practical exam which you will have to give. Now these are important. Why? Because that's how you start understanding, or this is where you will start getting more and more knowledge. What we expect from you is 80% attendance in theory and practical. Why? Because of course it is an important program, and this will lead to jobs coming to you. But the point is, if you are not able to attend a few lectures, maybe because of some private issues or because of some any of the problems, then you will always be able to go back to the recorded lectures, and you will be able to see those lectures again. Even if you've seen these lectures live, even if you've done it once, if you still want to recap these things, you will be able to do it for a longer period of time. Job opportunities, let me talk about this in the next slide. I think we'll be able to cover it in a much better way. So student learning flow through this course, exactly what are we going to teach you? Understand this very clearly. You choose a programming language, we don't have a problem with that. We will teach you in C++, but if you want to understand, or if you want to solve those problems, the 300 problems in different languages, okay, it is easily adaptable. That's how we understand it. So you can choose a programming language, C, C++, Java, Python. That's up to you. You solve the problems in your language, whatever you know best. But when we teach you, we will be able to teach you in the best way possible in C++, so that C++ is one particular aspect or a language which can translate into Python or Java easily. That's exactly why we've chosen C++. If we start taking more 4 languages, we'll never be able to reach, and it becomes a 2-year program. So that's the reason why we've not done this, and we've only chosen one language, while you can choose your programming in multiple languages. The concept of time and space complexity, okay, concept of mathematical bit manipulations, learning the fundamentals of data structures and algorithms, and of course the 300 problems that you will be solving additionally, challenging and solving coding problems on platforms like Codeforces and CodeChef. Now, this is exactly how you will be learning this course. There are much more details which are available on the website, which on TCS Ion website under data structures. I think everyone who is interested in this course should go through this, and you will be able to understand who's going to teach you, what are you going to be taught, how are you going to be taught. Everything will be taught in the same manner. So, what is the outcome? We've already spoken about it, but let me just repeat it back again. Okay, your analytical thought process, your way of analytics. Okay, looking at a problem solving, problem solving, looking at a problem actually becomes easier. You become smarter when it comes to analytics, and of course, your mathematical computational skills are the ones who actually get an upgrade. This is exactly what happens when you start practicing a little bit, and we actually give you an outcome where we have these practicals and theory sessions with you. Enhanced skill and writing optimized codes. This is going to be the most critical part. The lesser you write, the better it is. It's never the other way around. The more you write, the better it is. It's not never that way. It is always write optimized codes, because it's always easier to go back to them. Faster visualization of end output and skills to choose the right data structures for any given problem statement. You'll have multiple data structures which are at this point of time available. Which one to choose, where to choose, what to choose, how to choose, all these computations which you would require, the analytical skills which you would require. This program is actually going to make sure that you learn these things and you understand these things in a much better way possible. Student can participate in competitions like Google Kickstart, ACM, ICPC, or CodeJam. Why are these important? These are important because this is where the right people are actually chosen. If you actually do this, you really study those 300 hours, you will be able to actually perform Google Kickstart or ACM, ICPC, and you will be able to come in the first top 20. This is something that we're trying to prepare for you. So there are two types of jobs which are available at this point of time. There are product-based jobs and service-based jobs. Data structures and coding is used for both these kind of aspects. So while PhonePe, Paytm, Intuit, MediaNet, Media.net, Mang are product-based companies which are required, there are many such organizations which are actually going to be service-based. You have ISRO, Google, Amazon, Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, Dropbox, Quora. All these organizations choose people only from this background when they want hardcore coders. That's exactly what you have to do. See, you also understand when there is one guy in your organization or in a classroom who actually has a huge understanding of how to actually code, and you look at his code, you will be able to understand, okay, there is a huge difference. I don't know if there's something I'm lacking. It's not nothing like that. The only thing is he's been practicing a lot, she's been practicing a lot, and that's exactly what you require. Now, understanding what are the potential career paths. Software development engineer, that's the first start. Okay, backend developer, that's where you start handling a team. R&D engineer, you're the one who actually approves it or disapproves it. That's exactly how it goes. And we prepare you to start this particular career path from your becoming a software development engineer. But is it useful when you move ahead in the ladder? It is always going to be useful till the time you are in this field. That's exactly how it is, because every line of code which is written by any of your team members, even if it's an R&D engineer, once you become an R&D engineer, you still will have to go through those lines, and you'll have to understand if there are other mistakes which have been done by any of your other team members. So it is important that this particular skilling stays with you, and you only keep upgrading yourself, at time and again. Now let's understand what are we doing. So what is TCS doing here? Why is TCS so involved in all this stuff? Of course, we are an IT company, so our notion first comes to, okay, let's bring the best in IT, okay, to the country. That's the first part. But the most important part is, we want to provide the right kind of education to, and at the cheapest possible price, okay, to the people who are available. These courses are available in the market where normal people teach you for say 7,000, 10,000. Of course they're available, but the number of hours that they actually put inside is not more than 35 to 40. You'll have 10 classes, they'll teach you for 3 hours, and you'll be done with it, because that's how it completes. Not with us, you'll be here for 460 hours, and this is how it is going to be, because what we want you to do is practice a little bit every day. Start doing this, you get into this habit, and you'll get better and better. So the first thing is, how do you practice? Where do you practice? What do you practice on? That's where TCS actually comes in. If you look at the overall platform that MIT is going to use to teach, so let me just tell you, MIT is the academic partner. It's a university in Maharashtra which is taking up this program. We've taken MIT because they're one of the best universities across the country, and they are the ones who are actually giving us this program. So TCS provides its infrastructure. That means the overall LMS, that's the learning management system, for MIT to take this course up for all students who want to take up this particular program. So that means you will be able to write a proper code on our LMS itself, and it will be able to, and on the other side, there'll be people who will be able to see exactly what you're doing, how you're doing, and correct if there is something which is actually going up and down or haywire. That's the first thing. So basically, if you look at the overall infrastructure, that's where TCS actually comes in. The second part is, you don't have to only, as I said, you know what, there has to be a culmination or integration of academia and industry. Academia is an MIT. But what about the industry part? TCS not only brings its own expertise, but we bring expertise from everywhere else. You have Scient, you have Happiest Minds, you have eClerks, you have Atos. All these people, all these guys who actually code, who need people, okay, they bring their top management, and we hold lectures after every interval to actually make you understand, okay, you know what, this aspect is very beautiful, and this is what my organization did, and we solved this problem in this particular way. Now when you learn from the top minds itself, when you learn from these hardcore engineers itself, who are actually working with an organization for 20 years and have been doing this for some long time now, your perspective towards this particular programming changes completely, because he's telling you what is actually being used right now. He or she is telling you what is actually being used right now in the current scenario. We're not talking about 2010s what we used to use, or 2012 what we used to use. No, that's not the scenario that works. You need to know what is happening in 2022. How are these organizations getting ready in 2022? And that's exactly what we teach you. So integration of academia and industry lectures, all these industry lectures are the ones who are actually brought by us. So we are the ones who actually put these things put together. We bring them, we amalgamate between these two things, and we bring you a proper course which has both academia and industry. The third thing, the most important aspect. Why are you doing all this? Why are you putting these 15, 16, 17 years of hard work? What is the reason for getting, so educated? I'm sure everyone over here is extremely educated, who they know what they are rightly doing. Or what is the end result? The end result is finally finding a job. You need to find a job. That's exactly what we are trying to do. And how does TCS actually help you in this? The first statement which I told you was, we hire 1 lakh people every year, and these are all freshers. That doesn't mean everyone will get a chance. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you will be able to get a chance if you try and excel in this particular course. Why? Because there are three things that we will do. The first thing is, you get access to 7,000 jobs on our job listing portal, where only requirement is freshers. This is not for a managerial level position. These are all fresher jobs, and these are things which are going to help you. So you can apply for any location, say Bombay, Delhi, Calcutta, or for that matter Hyderabad, or for that matter Pune, wherever your IT hubs are. Hyderabad has an amazing IT hub. There's another IT hub actually opening up in Hyderabad, which is even bigger than the other one. So basically, what are we trying to do is, we're trying to bring all these industry partners come together. We are taking jobs from them and putting it on our portal. That's the first part that we're trying to do. But does that solve the problem? No. You need to do more. We need to do much more. So the second thing that we do is, all the students who are actually coming to us, okay, for this program, we make a laundry list of these people, okay, and we start sending it to all the employers, the 125 employers that we are actually partnered with. We give them these lists. The first right of refusal goes to Tata, TCS, of course, and after that we send it to all the other partners. So they pick and choose the right candidates, and once they pick and choose, they start calling you and they'll start interviewing you immediately, and that's how it works. The third and the most important thing is, why not do a in-house, campaign? So bring organizations to, Harsha Learnings. We bring organizations like TCS or eClerks or the other 20 other organizations, okay, where we actually bring them in one location. They take your test, okay, they take your test, they make sure that you're ready. If you pass it, then they immediately offer you, they sit with you for your interview, the technical interview round, your personal interview rounds, and we close it then and there. So that means three ways of doing things. First, you are open to take jobs for yourself. That is the first thing that we do. Second thing is, we create an Excel list and we send it to the people across other different locations and all other locations, so that they can pick and choose whomever they find suitable for their candidature. And the third thing is, of course, we bring in campus recruiters. They come, they recruit, they choose, they understand, and that's how this whole thing works. So this is not only upskilling program that we're actually offering you. This is something which actually brings in a good scope of you actually getting a job at the end of the day. That's the aim that we actually keep ourselves. We're setting ourselves a bar which is so high that we ourselves are going to ensure that we actually keep, creating it higher and higher, and that's exactly what we want to do with this. The overall course structure, let me just take you through the overall course structure. I think we've already covered most of this, but just giving you an understanding, in a much better way. Course fees we've connected, duration we've actually taken care of. Prerequisites, of course, it's diploma, engineering, BTech, BE, BCA, MCA, even for that matter. If you have mechanical engineers, if you have electrical engineers who want to take up this course, because you have a lot of mechanical engineers at this point of time who are actually doing coding and they do really good coding. So if they understand data structures and if they understand a language, okay, which is supposed to be used over here, then they are most welcome to actually join this particular program. Pedagogy, as we said, this whole course is going to be online. You will be a part of TCS Ion, learning management system. All these courses will be done on TCS. There will be recorded videos by faculties in case if you miss anything, but most of these live lectures will be live. There will be a community connect which we will be doing, where you will be able to throw questions, you will be able to answer questions, you will actually have a discussion or an interaction with one of the professors. Or if in case if you understand some, if you want to understand from an industry perspective, then industry SMEs will also be answering these questions. There are 10 modules which we will cover. For every module student will have one single small assessment, and there will be one final assessment. And of course, there are more than 40 lectures that we want to keep. There will be 38 live lectures and two which will be done by the industry SME. This is something that we are going to do, and this is how we are going to prepare you. Now, if you understand, what we're trying to do is, if you are interested in doing this particular course, the first thing I tell you is please contact Harsha Learnings. They are our partners in Hyderabad, and the one thing that they'll do is they'll take you through this whole application journey, where you go to the TCS website. It's a TCS website where you first register. The TCS website takes you to the MIT website where you put all your documents in it. There is a registration fees of 254 rupees, one time 254 rupees, which is non-refundable. But only once your registration is accepted, okay, once you put all your documents and your registration is accepted, only then you will be able to, we will send you a link. MIT sends you a link to pay the whole fees. That means you never have a doubt, okay, if I'm not sure if I whether I want to do it or not. Fill the forms, see if you're selected. Once you're selected, only then pay. We do not want to create a situation where you pay for it but you reject it. That's not the way it works. So that's exactly how it will work. This whole process is created in such a way that it is minimum hassle to the student, and there is no monetary issues which are raised by the student, or they actually have a problem with this. That's how it will be. If you want to take picture of this, you can always take picture of this. But of course, once you understand and once you come to Harsha Learning, we'll be able to take you through this process. Just get your documents in a PDF format, on a JPG format, and we'll be able to take you through this. Finally, this is a certificate of completion that you get. Of course, there's a grade which has been given to you, A, B, C. You will be able to take this particular grade. There's a TCS and logo on it. Okay, it's a proper verified or verifiable certificate which we provide to you, so that you are able to understand and learn this. This will come to you in a digital format. Of course, if you want to take a printout copy and keep it with you, you're most welcome to do that. But this is exactly what we are going to do. So now I will stop sharing at this point, and I would now want to understand if there are any questions that you have, or if there are any feedbacks that you have, anything from your side. Please come, open up your um, uh, um, questions, and we'll be able to answer you all the questions that you have with respective to this. If we don't have an answer, we'll come back to you with an answer. That's a promise. So please, you can start going ahead. No questions? Any suggestions? Anything that you have? Okay, let me ask you a
Are
question. How
we
many of
having
you think?
any,
I'm sorry.
sir, sir, are we having any non-coding courses, sir, like apart from
Yes,
C language?
yes, we do. We
Yes.
have a non-coding courses also. We have a huge list of courses, but this is something that we are paying attention to, because it's a job-oriented program, and we will be. You can also talk to Harsha Trainings also, of course, but there are many questions that we can actually. There are many courses that we are actually going to bring to you. Non-coding, coding, AI/ML, all these courses are the ones which we will be bringing through TCS Ion and the university, of course. So, does anyone of you feel that this is a very important course which needs to be done, or anyone has a vice versa thought about this particular aspect? I think a little bit of interaction would be good. Chandu, is it Chandu or is it Chandu? How do I spell your name? I'm so sorry. Chandu. Chandu. So I'll call you Mr. Reddy. Mr. Reddy, Mr. Girish. Okay, Mr. Girish. How many of you actually feel this program is going to be very important in the long run? Or do you? How many of you feel who want to take up this program at this point of time? Yes, you will have to pay. First thing is 250. for that is the first time you will pay, and the second time once you submit all your documents, the moment you are within 2 days your documents are verified, and immediately you get a link on your mail from MIT to pay the payment, to do the payment. So that's how the works. We don't want people to pay directly immediately. Otherwise, if they get rejected or if something gets rejected, then it becomes difficult for us to pay back the money. So that's how we're not doing it. So we want to ensure that your money is safe. First, you do your registration. It's only a 254 rupee payment which you need to do at that point of time. Get your registration done. Wait for 1 day, and then once you get a reply from them, you're accepted. Then do the payment together. Well, a good question. Thank you, Girish. Any other questions? If we take up this course, is it a very good platform to upskill the coding skills? Absolutely. It is absolutely. Let me tell you, we have received LOIs, letter of intents, from 8 organizations already to hire people from this particular course. I'm talking about in-campus hiring. We've understood, we've taken it to them. See, our relevance, whether it is a good course or not, will only be told us by the industry. If the industry says, okay, I want this kid, okay, after doing this course, that means it is a very good course, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. The professors keep telling us, but we don't listen to the professors. We listen to the people who actually hire you. The moment they tell you, okay, yes, this is something I want, a student who actually understands this or who knows this, then we are through. And we've been getting this response from many of these organizations. I think this is something which is very important. Any questions?
Sir, people from any background can apply, sir. Like one of my friends has completed his diploma, sir, in electron ECE. Will he be eligible to take this course, sir? Like,
Sankirt, okay, let me answer this question in one simple way. See, if he's done, completed his diploma in BCE, no problem. The only thing that
yes,
we require, the prerequisites, there are two things which he needs. The first thing that we
yes,
need
sir.
is he needs to understand data structures. That's a basic.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
if you're an engineer in computer science, or even for that matter IT, okay, they teach you data structures. That is something that they need to understand. And the second thing that they need to understand is, he needs to understand a language. They need to know the language also.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, if there are no more questions, I think that people who are leaving this chat, no problem. If you have any other questions, please, I'm waiting for another moment to couple of minutes, and then we can end the session. But if there are any more questions, I'm ready to answer all your questions in the best way possible.
Yes.
Any other questions that you have? Just think, even if it's a really, really small question, it doesn't matter. If it's really pertaining to the particular course, then we would want to answer all these questions in the best way possible. Okay, very good. That depends on you. If you give me those 300 hours, if you give me solve solutions for those 300 questions, I will tell you we will get you placed 100%. Give me those 300 hours. That's the only thing I'm asking from you. If you give me those self-learning 300 hours, then there is no second thought that we will get you placed, because you will become okay. Can you explain about hours? Okay, fine. Let me just take you through this again. There are three. This program is divided into three parts: practical, theory, practical, and self-learning. Theory is 60 hours. That means there are 10 topics which are being taught to you. Okay. Now, the theory portion of these 10 topics will be taken into 60 hours. That is 1.5 hour, one lecture, 45 lectures, like that. 45 live lectures. That means 45 into 1.5 is equal to 60. That means the student will be able to take approximately 45 lectures. 45 lectures of 1.5 hours, that is totaling up to approximately those 40 lectures of 44 sorry 40 lectures of 1.5 hours, that is approximately 60. The second thing is 40 lectures are done in theory. The second point is practicals. There are against the theory, for every lecture there is to be a practical, right? Because there's a theory component and there's a practical component. So if you're doing 40 lectures, then there's a second thing which comes out is 40 theory lectures, then you have 3 hours of one practical lecture, that is 120 hours of practicals. That means 3 hour one lecture, 40 hours of practicals. That means 40 hours of theory, 40 hours of practical, and then you, after every theory and practical, you will have approximately 8 to 10 hours of self learning which you will have to do. These are basically problem statements uh, which will be given to you with regards to the theory and practicals which you've just understood, so that if you have to revise it, you will be able to revise it. And that's how the 300 hours of problems we are talking about. So this 300 hours of problem is basically 300 problems which you will have to solve in one hour each. That's how your exams will be. That's how we are going to teach you, so that you understand the gravity of the timeline that you have to take care of. And that's how we want to practice. These 300 solved problems are not academic problems. These are problems which have been taken by by us from the industry. So the industry gives us these set of problems, and most of the time when you actually write these exams, you will see such problems coming from the industry itself. There are no academic problems which are actually given to you at that point of time. So now, did you understand the hours? 60 hours of theory, that is 40 lectures, 120 hours of practicals, that is 40 practical lectures, 3 hours each, that is 1.5 hour each. And then you have self-learning component, which is 300 problems that you will have to solve. But this is important because if you don't solve these problems, there is no test or there is no check behind this particular 300 hours. But it's up to you. If you can do it, the better it is. There is 100% chance that you will get placed if you do those 300 hours. There is no second thought on that. Thanks. I think Siddharth, did you understand this? Siddharth? Okay. I think I'll give you time to reply. Anybody else has any questions? Okay, good. Thank you, Siddharth. Anybody has any other questions? Is everyone sure that there are no other questions? I will wait for 2 more minutes. I don't mind waiting for 5 more minutes. As long as you have questions, I will answer all those questions. Okay, I think there are no more questions which are going to come or which are coming at this point of time. So the one thing I can tell you is thank you very much for giving this 1 hour to us, and I, with all my heart, thank you guys for actually coming for this particular webinar. It's been a very informative session. I'm sure we got a lot of good questions, and if any of you need any more thought process, or if you need anything more, then you can always visit Harsha Learnings. They'll anyways call you for this particular program. If you need any more details, please let us know. We will be able to provide it to you in the best way possible. Thank you so much, Samareen. Thank you so much. It was really good to have you guys here on this particular webinar. It was a pleasure. Thank you guys, and have a great day. Be safe and take care of yourself. Thank you.